What's going on, everyone? Just when you thought Kyrie Irving being traded to the Lakers was dead, The Athletic comes out with a fire report a little over an hour ago. So, per The Athletic and an interview with Alex Schiffer, there is talks amongst the Lakers that still believe that Kyrie Irving to the Lakers could still end up happening. Now, to be honest, I think it's very unlikely that it happens now, now that Kevin Durant has obviously opted in, and I think that as long as Kevin Durant is with the Nets, they're probably not going to unload Kyrie. I have, though, in past videos, talked about how, one, we didn't get an official announcement like we did with Kevin Durant. Two, it depends on what was relayed by Kevin Durant. Did the Nets say, or would you be okay if we traded Kyrie Irving? If Kevin Durant says, hey, I don't mind it, or whatever the conversation is, maybe they still explore it. But I think at this point, it's probably in the Lakers' best interest even to maybe potentially move on. Although, the Lakers did acquire Patrick Beverley. And in acquiring Patrick Beverley, the Lakers cleared salary to offer a, not max deal, but depending on who the player is, you could offer about $32 to maybe $33 million, which would Kyrie accept something like that? I don't know if the Nets would give him a max extension. And you have Patrick Beverley, ride it out this year. If it goes well, you can re-sign him for a smaller deal. There's options for the Lakers. Again, I don't think that there's anything there. And even the report says that this thinking was before the Kevin Durant recension of the trade. So I don't know why this report came out now, especially so late during the day, but for whatever reason, this was released. And usually when a report is released, there is a purpose and a reason to it. Usually when somebody says, hey, make this announcement, there's logic behind it. Now, maybe the Lakers are trying to stir the pot to see what can happen, what can end up being developed. There is the whole, they got Patrick Beverley, so they're probably moving off of Russell Westbrook. And the most logical thought is, okay, maybe they do the Indiana Pacers deal. Now, you could run Patrick Beverley and Kyrie Irving together. That's easy, especially with a guy like LeBron James, who's going to be your pseudo point guard anyway. But I think at the end of it, I think the Lakers are even starting to move in another direction. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Lakers finally made a trade after they got the Kevin Durant is staying situation. Now, could the Lakers acquire Kyrie Irving, say, trade deadline, or he just signs with them outright next season? Absolutely. I don't completely rule out the possibility of Kyrie coming, but I just think this year, if everyone buys in and everybody is 100%, the Brooklyn Nets are a very scary team. They have the shooting, they have the defense, they have the scoring, they have a little bit of everything you could need for a team trying to be a title contender. And this big three is terrifying. Problem is, there are a lot of things that have to go right for this Nets team, and if any of those things just go even slightly wrong, it is going to get blown so out of proportion, it's insane. Because it's the Brooklyn Nets and because of the drama that happened. Something that could be just a simple locker room exchange or something, minute, is going to end up being this giant, like, oh, look, the Nets are crumbling, this, that, and the other. And you have three very unreliable guys. That's another real concern. So if Brooklyn isn't going the way that they had hoped, and it looks like things are going bad, maybe they do move Kyrie Irving at the trade deadline. Because at that point, you might as well get something for him than nothing, right? Do you really want to max him out? And, say Kyrie, is just is not being a team player, or say he gets hurt again, or, something along those lines. Do you just say, okay, tell you what, let's just get, even if it's just a first for Kyrie, let's do that rather than just losing him, he walks and we get nothing. It is a tricky area. I do think Kyrie is staying with the Brooklyn Nets, at least at this point. Who knows? We'll see what develops. But I think they at least go into training camp. They at least possibly even start the season. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Brooklyn Nets, but that's where we're at. They got what they wanted in Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving, though, is expendable. And Kyrie Irving is not the prize that they ultimately wanted. They wanted Kevin Durant. And it still depends on what was the conversation that they had. I don't think that they're going to trade for Kyrie Irving or going to trade Kyrie Irving to the Lakers, but it wouldn't shock me at all. It just is not something that I'd be like, oh, I never saw that coming. It still makes sense depending on what you're getting back. I don't think that they're going to trade Kyrie for the first, though, because they got Kevin Durant. I think if they were to trade Kyrie, they're trading him for players. So maybe it's like a 3-team with Utah or Indiana, something along those lines. But I do think the Lakers are going to make a trade. There's even talks, about Westbrook being gone because they acquired Patrick Beverley. I do think sooner or later it's a real possibility that Kyrie could be a Laker. I just don't know if it's this season. I think if the Lakers are going to get Kyrie, it's going to be next season. But do the Lakers wait and be patient? That's the big thing too. Do the Lakers really actually say, okay, we're not going to go make this Buddy Hield and Miles Turner trade. We're actually going to save that cap space and then offer that to Kyrie Irving next season. Is that something that they'd really do and they'd really consider? I don't know. I don't know if that's the best course of action, at least this season. Problem is that if you do any trades that lock up your long-term salary, you can rule out Kyrie Irving. Like if you do a Miles Turner, Buddy Hield deal, unless you can, keep a first and then move off a Buddy Hield next season with one of those firsts, I don't see how you get Kyrie Irving. But we'll see. We'll see how it develops. I just saw this was like a trending topic that people in the Lakers still believe that Kyrie Irving's coming to them. They might not be wrong. Look, I still believe it's in many ways is a matter of when, not if. And if it happens, say trade deadline or next season or whatever, then the execs weren't wrong. I just don't. And I just think that it's time for the Lakers to move on. I've been a huge advocate of Kyrie Irving coming to the Lakers. I've, put my neck on the line saying that I thought that he was coming. I really did for a long time. I think the Lakers really did have an opportunity to get him at one point. I've even stuck up for the Lakers being patient. But, you win some, you lose some. It didn't happen. It didn't come out. And, it's like, you were patient. You waited. None of the deals that you were trying to get, all of them are still there. So you're still in a good position. Just see what you could do. Move on. Do that. Like you're not gonna. There's no guarantee Kyrie's coming next year. So do you? It's the whole one in the hand is worth two in the bush. If you could get players that can make you a contender or at least a really good team this year, do that. Don't worry about Kyrie Irving next year. If Kyrie Irving wants to come to the Lakers next year, figure it out. Even if you do have Miles Turner and something. Right? Maybe you do a sign and trade and get Kyrie Irving. I don't know. Yeah, hard cap shit, but maybe you figure it out at that point. I don't know. There's options. There's always alternatives. There's always ways. The NBA, good GM can always work around whatever you need to work around. But we'll see. I just, again, thought it was interesting, but I don't think this is nothing. I think this is just Kyrie Irving is a hot topic still, and it's like we haven't had a Kyrie Irving conversation in a couple days. So here you go. Here's a Kyrie thought is kind of how I'm looking at this. Because it's just odd that this report came out now out of like the last several days when you could have made that report and it would have made a lot more sense and a lot more people would have bought into it. I don't really buy it. I don't. I think it's time to move on. You win some, you lose some. Like I said, you lost this one. Don't worry. If he comes next year, he comes next year. If you have an opportunity to trade for him at the trade deadline, explore that at the trade deadline. However you shake it, get it done. But always, those were my thoughts and opinions, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think the Lakers still have an opportunity to go get Kyrie Irving? Like I said, they never made a formal announcement. Who knows what the conversation was to be had about Kyrie Irving. Just because Kevin Durant and Kyrie are working out doesn't mean that they're actually going to play together. We saw Tatum and Durant working out, stuff like that, it's never really dead until it's dead, But I think at this point, I just think even if the Nets are still dangling Kyrie on the table and are like, oh, yeah, here you go. I think at some point you got to just say, all right, we're done. We're moving on. If we do this trade, it's over. Too bad. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all shapes up. We'll see how it goes. But again, however you feel about it, whether you think Kyrie could still go to Lakers, whether you think he stays with the Nets, I do think Brooklyn has one of the, if not the best team in the league. If everyone is healthy, everyone is bought in, you have three very unreliable guys. And I think that this year could easily go sideways for the Brooklyn Nets. And even by the trade deadline, Kevin Durant could be, this whole mess could be all over again. I really think this was just a Band-Aid, not an actual permanent fix. But winning solves everything. If they can win, I think that solves the problem that they need. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.